Hi, Kara 640. Today we'll be looking at the lifestyle risk factors affecting geriatric falls on my proposal for submission for a journal. The journal that we'll be looking at is the American Geriatric Society Journal of American Geriatric Society. And so these are the stats of it. The one that really kind of stands out the most is the acceptance rate of 2023 was 25%. So that's that gives me good hopes. The target conference that I be looking to be presenting would be at the virtual annual scientific meeting of the American Geriatric Society. I left a hyperlink if you want to sign up for it. It's going to be purely virtual online webinar. I've listed some of the many criterias that they have. I've also hyperlinked to it of some of more, and some of them are pretty are pretty standard. That it has to be on clinical care of older persons. Um, no very little to no grammatical errors and AMA format. They've also provided a slide presentation template that they'd like you to use as well. Citations for reviews, I've highlighted them only because through the citations, it does get a little bit wordy. So these are the titles of the articles. So the first one we'll be looking at is the development of elderly lifestyle profile, a Delphi survey in multidisciplinary health experts. This was a survey to multidisciplinary healthcare teams of OTs, nutritionists, social workers, PTs, general practitioners, skilled nurses, and researchers. It covered about 62 items divided into three categories. And this was meant to help to, once again, develop an elderly lifestyle profile. So really interesting stuff. The next one is falls in the elderly of modern look at an older problem. This was looking at ground level falls, GLF, and non-GLF, non-ground level falls. Ground level falls or non-ground level falls are like stairs, ladders, of those nature. Great takeaways that most non-GLF is younger population of the older population, and most fall occurrences are at home. 50%, if not more, is at stairs. And then contributing factors, major lifestyle risk factors for incidence of heart failure. Once again, this is looking at lifestyle choices that affect heart failure and cardiovascular health. That being diet, physical activity, alcohol consumption, smoking, adiposity, and comorbidities. Clustering of lifestyle risk factors in a general adult population. Big takeaway on this is that clustering is when there's a prevalence of risk factors that compound. So now in this study, if you have two or three risk factors, you are at an increased risk of other contributing factors. Factors being smoking, poor nutrition, alcohol, physical activity, age, education. Predicting geriatric falls following episodes of emergency department care. This one, they developed a formula of assessing high fall risk more in the ED emergency department. One thing really to note that their finding was that within a year, 44% of cases have been ground level falls, and the subsequent ground level falls, 33% have a mortality rate of 1 year. So very interesting. Incidences of falls in the elderly population. This one is fall risk factors in community dwelling older adults. They found it that the highest risk factors are visual hearing impairment, incontinence, and if the person is taking 3 or more medications. Interesting enough, highest risks fall risk was at nursing home versus community dwelling. These are just a little of the statistics of the area that I'm looking at. 566 had the words lifestyle risk factors and falls, but not really together. Those were just words that were in the documents. When I kind of quickly looked at about the first 200, they were either too specific on specific conditions like Parkinson's, or other health related items, but not in this umbrella form. So this is the overview that we'll be looking at. So the difference between lifestyle versus quality of life. Lifestyle is the typical way of life of an individual, group of culture. You'll see that lifestyle and quality of life kind of bleed together, but the biggest difference for lifestyle is that it is affected by culture. And then quality of life is one's subjective overall enjoyment of life. And as you can see by the pie graph here, mental and physical are the biggest aspects of quality of life. So geriatric falls, as I mentioned before, this is the common contributing factor that leads to elderly disability. I've mentioned the 44% leading to readmission rate, and then the subsequent GLFs are 33% of a one-year mortality. And seeing the note, I highlighted in yellow the two biggest injuries, which is TBIs at 22.5, lower extremity fractures 21, and the lowest ones being epidural hematomas and intra-abdominal injuries. So the lifestyle risk factors, as one of the articles was saying, is that the clustering of life risk factors. So if any of these is something that a person has, they are increasingly at a higher risk of having more of them. So smoking, low, poor nutrition, excessive alcohol intake. And then so the taking action aspect, this is where it all comes together. I'm thinking that there are three ways that we can that this can be packaged. That we use the Delphi survey, and this is kind of the survey right here. Physical activity, activity participation, and nutrition. I'm thinking that if a person hits a percentage of these three categories, they would get a score. And then in combination of a short physical performance battery, which we'll look in the next slide, and the clustering of lifestyle factors, prevalence odds. And so this is the short physical performance batteries, a little breakdown of what it is. I provided a document QR link, and then also a YouTube video of how to perform it. And so the practical implications is that this would reduce burden of healthcare. If we can take preventative care and assessments to provide appropriate services for people that do need it to reduce the fall risk, improve the quality of life of the older of the more older population. This would be a great assessment tools for nursing homes, senior community dwelling, and long-term care. Like I said, implicating using the Delphi method, using the short performance battery, and also that third one, which is the prevalence odds ratio. And then this would help with bridging multidisciplinary healthcare teams, bridging the gap between healthcare teams. And then also this could be a small business, potentially reaching out to the VA or other places like nursing home. This would be a great assessment tool of saying, hey, how can we reduce these factors, or who is at a higher risk? And once again, there's a lot of information on risk factors, but not lifestyle risk factors. And I think having a scoring method would really help. Mahalos and thank you. I hope this was informative and I look forward to seeing the rest of your guys' presentation. Thank you.